you've not actually had that many accidents, have you? I mean, I'd say I am touching wood while I say that, but the Star Wars one was one that I remember, and then we'll move on to Superman. But
Yes,
yeah, tell us what happened in Star Wars, and how long ago was that? What year was that? Because this was one of the originals, wasn't it?
Yes, that was 83, something like that. 83. Yeah. Yeah. It was I'd done, it was Superman. We were competing on Superman 1 with Star Wars when it was started to come out in 77, I think, 78. So yeah, it must have been around about early 80s that I got a call to go out to California, to Arizona and California, right on the border. And we was at Yuma, Arizona. And I was playing a part of that part there, Vadine, the skiff pilot. And I was doubling, going to be doubling for Harrison if there was any problem on the skiff, and they needed a double. It was going to be me. And then the stunt coordinator, American stunt coordinator, said, "I want somebody to play the skiff pilot." Nobody volunteered. So I said, "Oh well, I'll get American if you Brits can't do it." I said, "No, I'll do it. Don't worry." So I got the costume, and I said, what the shot was that there's an explosion on the skiff. I'm fighting Billy D. Williams's stunt double, and as we go off, the explosion goes off. We're supposed to hang over the side of the skiff. He's on the cable, and it holds one of the cables, and then he shakes me off. I'm holding onto him, and then I fall down 12 feet onto the slope and then roll down into the Sarlacc pit, which was a big hole in the ground. So that was the idea. And I said, well, I much prefer to have my own cable. Two guys on the cable is not very good. He said, no, this is the new harness and you've got to do it this way. So I said, okay. So I had handholds on him. We struggle on the top, and the explosion goes off. And as we went into space, everything went into slow motion. As it does, your adrenaline's pumping so fast, your mind is so fast, everything slows down. And I could see him, I felt a jerk in his body as it came, the cable came away from him, and there was a little bit on the end of it. And he grabbed the cable, and I saw the piece go through his hand, and then blood went,
Oh.
And I thought, oh, this is not right. So now we're going out, instead of me just falling down 12 feet, we're both going 20 feet down to, and I got him on top of me, and he was a big guy, Julius Lafleur, and my right leg was down, and it just hit first, got caught in the foam rubber under the sand. My foot twisted and snapped my leg, and I was rolling into the Sarlacc pit, and I thought, I've broken my leg, but if I can see my toes and they're pointing up, it's one bone. If it's facing the other way, that's bad. That's two bones. And as I threw him off, as we went into the airbag at the bottom, and I threw my leg up, and my toes were pointing up, I thought, oh, thank God for that. That was good. Only one bone, so that was that.
Yeah.
So I was on crutches, and I went off to LA, and I stayed at the Beverly Hills Hotel for a week. It was terrible.
Yeah, I bet it was. Yeah, you got nursed by Carrie Fisher, if I remember rightly.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
Impact car. Yeah.
Yeah, and that cast that you had on your leg was then signed by all sorts of people.
Yes, all the cast and some of the crew signed it. And when I went back to London, they put me in touch with a guy, a specialist, orthopedic, whatever he was, a specialist, top man, they said. So I said, oh, great. So I went to see him, and I walked into his office, and he said, Paul Weston. I said, yes. He said, who sins most?
What?
I beg your pardon? He said, who sins most? I said, I said, funny enough, I said, I did a play at the King's Head in Islington called Who Sins Most? He said, I wrote it. I was so he was the author of the play Who Sins Most. So he looked after me, and I, because the cast was all signed, he said, I've got to take the cast off and reset your leg because it's not quite right. So I said, well, be careful with the cast. And he cut down both sides very carefully and managed to get it off. And I put it back together again. And that is now in the Obi-Wan Kenobi Ranch Museum in San Francisco in a glass case.
Yeah.